Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Screen Recorder and today I will be doing storytelling Minnikin. Minnikin. It's about a child called Minnikin conquers 3 trolls to save 2 captured princesses. There was, upon a time, a couple of needy folk who lived in a wretched hut, in which there was nothing but black ones, so they had neither food to eat nor wood to burn. But if they had next to nothing of all else, they had the blessing of God so far as children were concerned, and every year brought them one more. The man was not overpleased at this. He was always going about grumbling and growling, and saying that it seemed to him that there might be such a thing as having too many of these good gifts. So shortly before another baby was born, he went away in the wood for some firewood, saying that he did not want to see the new child. He would near him quite soon enough when he began to squeal for some food. As soon as this baby was born, it began to look about the room. "Ah, my dear mother," said he, "give me some of my brother's old clothes, and food enough for a few days, and I will go out in the world and seek my fortune, for so far as I can see, you have children enough." "Heaven help you, my son," said the mother. "That will never do. You are still far too little." But the little creature was overdetermined to do it, and begged and prayed so long that the mother was forced to let him have some old rags, and tied up a little food for him, and then gaily and happily he went out into the world. But almost before he was out of the house, another boy was born, and he too looked about him and said, "Ah, my dear mother, give me some of my brother's old clothes and food for some days, and then I will go out in the world and find my twin brother, and you have children enough." "Heaven help you, little creature, you are far too little for that," said the woman. "It will never do." And she spoke to no purpose, for the boy begged and prayed until he had got some old rags and a bundle of provisions, and then he set out manfully into the world to find his twin brother. When the younger brother had walked for some time, he caught sight of his brother a short distance in front of him, and called to him and bade him to stop. "Wait a minute," he said. "You are walking as if for a wager, but you ought to have stayed to see your younger brother before you hurried off into the world." So the elder stood still and looked back, and when the younger had got up to him, and had told him that he was his brother, he said, "But now let us sit down and see what kind of food our mother has given us." And that they did. When they had walked a little farther, they came to a brook which ran through a green meadow, and the younger said that they ought to christen each other. "As we had to make such haste, and had no time to do it at home, we may as well do it here," said he. What will you be called?" asked the elder. "I will be called Minnikin," answered the second. "And you, what will you be called?" "I will be called King Pippin," answered the elder. They questioned each other and then went onwards. When they had walked for some time, they came to a crossway, and there they agreed to part, and each take his own road. This they did, but no sooner had they walked a short distance Then they met again. So they parted once more, and each day its own road, and each took its own road. But in a very short time the same thing happened again. They met each other before they were at all aware, and so it happened the third time also. Then they arranged with each other that each should choose his own quarter, and no should go east, and one should go east, and the other go west. But if ever you fall into any need or trouble, said the elder, call me thrice, and I will come and help you. Only you must not call me until you are in the utmost need. In that case, we shall not see each other for some time, said Minnikin. So they bade farewell to each other, and Minnikin went east, and King Pippin went west. When Minnikin had walked a long way alone, he met an old crook-backed hag who had only one eye. Minnikin stole it. "Oh, oh!" cried the old hag. "What has become of my eye?" "What will you give me to get your eye back?" said Minnikin. "I will give you a sword which is such a sword that it can conquer a whole army. Let it be ever so great," replied the woman. "Let me have it, then," said Minnikin. The old hag gave him the sword, so she got her eye back. Then Minnikin went onwards, and when he had wandered on for some time, he again met an old crook-backed hag who had only one eye. Minnikin stole it before she was aware. "Oh, oh! What has become my eyes?" cried the old hag. What will you give me to get your eye back?" said Minnikin. "I will give you a ship which can sail over fresh water and salt water, over high hills and deep downs," answered the old woman. "Let me have it, then," said Minnikin. So the old woman gave a little bit of a ship which was no bigger than he could put in his pocket, and then she got a eye back, and she went her way, and Minnikin is. When he had walked on a long time, he met for the third time an old crook-backed hag who had only one eye. This eye also Minnikin stole. And when the woman screamed and lamented, and asked what had become of her eye, Minnikin said, "What will you give me to get your eye back?" I will give you the art to blow 100 lots of mouths in one blowy." So, for teaching that art, the old hags got a eye back, and they both went away by different routes. But when Minnikin had walked a short distance, it seemed to him that it might be worthwhile to see what his ship could do. So he took it out of his pocket, and first he put one foot into it, and then the other, and no sooner had he put one foot into the ship than it became much larger, and when he set the other foot into it, it grew as large as ships that sail on the sea. Then Minnikin said, "Now go over fresh water and salt water, over high hills and deep downs, and do not stop until you come to the king's palace." And in an instant the ship went away as swiftly as any bird in the air till it got just below the king's palace, and there it stood still. From the windows of the king's palace many persons had seen Minnikin come stealing thither, and had stood to watch him, and they were all so astounded that they ran down to see what manner of man this could be who came stealing in his ship through the air. But while they were running down from the king's palace, Minnikin had got out of the ship and had put it in his pocket again. For the moment he got out of it, it once more became as small as it had been when he got it from the old woman, and those who came from the king's palace could see nothing but a wreck little boy who was standing down by the seashore. The king asked where he had come from. The boy said he did not know, nor yet could he tell them how he had got there. But he begged very earnestly and prettily for a place in the king's palace. If there was nothing else for him to do, he said he would fetch wood and water for the kitchen maid, and that he obtained leave to do. When Minnikin went up to the king's palace, he saw that everything there was hung with black both outside and inside, and from the bottom to the top. So he asked the kitchen maid what that means. "Oh, I will tell you that," answered the kitchen maid. "The king's daughter was long ago promised away to 3 trolls, and next Thursday evening one of them is to come to fetch her. Reiterate as said that he will be able to set her free, but who knows whether he will be able to do it. So you may easily imagine what grief and distress we are in here." So when Thursday evening came, Reiterate accompanied the princess to the seashore, for there she was to meet the troll, and Reiterate was to stay with her and protect her. He, however, was very unlikely to do the troll much injury, for no sooner had the princess seated herself by the seashore than Reiterate climbed up into a great tree, which was standing there, and hid himself as well as he could among the branches. The princess wept and begged him most earnestly not to go and leave her, but the Reiterate did not concern himself about that. "It is better that one should die than two," said he. In the meantime, Minnikin begged the kitchen maid very prettily to give him leave to go down to the shrine for a short time. "Oh, what could you do at the shrine?" said the kitchen maid. "You have nothing to do there." "Oh, yes, my dear, just let me go," said Minnikin. "I should so like to go and amuse myself with the other children." "Well, well, go then," said the kitchen maid, "but do let me find you staying there over the time when the pan has to be set on the fire for supper, and a roast put on the spit, and mind you bring back a big armful of wood for the kitchen." Minnikin promised this and ran down to the seashore. Just as he got to the place where the king's daughter was sitting, the troll came rushing up with a great whistling and wailing, and he was so big and stout that he was terrible to see, and he had 5 heads. "Fire!" shrieked the troll. "Fire yourself," said Minnikin. "Can you fight?" roared the troll. "If not, I can learn," said Minnikin. So the troll struck at him with a great thick iron bar which he had in his fist, till the swords flew 5 yards up in the air. "Fight!" said Minnikin. "That was not so much of a blow. Now you shall see one of mine." So he grasped the sword which he had got from the old crook-backed woman, and slashed at the troll so that all 5 heads went flying away over the sand. When the princess saw that she was delivered, she was so delighted that she did not know what she was doing, and skipped and danced. "Come and sleep a bit with your head in my lap," she said to Minnikin, and as he slept, she put a golden dress on him. But when Reiterate saw that there was no longer any danger afoot, he lost no time in creeping down from the tree. He then threatened the princess, until at length she was forced to promise to say that it was he who had rescued her, for he told her that if she did not, he would kill her. Then he took the troll's lungs and tongue, and put them in his pocket handkerchief, and led the princess back to the king's palace, and whatsoever had been lacking to him in the way of honor before was lacking no longer, for the king did not know how to exalt him enough and always saved him on his own right hand at table. As for Minnikin, first he went out on the troll's ship and took a great quantity of gold and silver hoops away with him, and then he trotted back to the king's palace. When the kitchen maid caught sight of all this gold and silver, she was quite amazed and said, "My dear friend Minnikin, where have you got all of that from?" For she was half afraid that he had not come by it honestly. "Oh," answered Minnikin, "I have been home a while, and these hoops had fallen off some of our buckets, so I brought them away with me for you." So when the kitchen maid heard that they were for her, she asked no more questions about the matter. She thanked Minnikin, and everything was right again at once. Next Thursday evening, all went just the same. Everyone was full of grief and affliction. But Reiterate said that he had been able to deliver the king's daughter from one troll, so that he could very easily deliver her from another, and he led her down to the seashore. But he did not do much harm to this troll either, for when the time came when the troll might be expected, he said, as he had said before, "It is better that one should die than two," and then climb up into the tree again. Minnikin once more begged the crow's leave to go down to the seashore for a short time. "Oh, what can you do there?" said the crow. "My dear, do let me go," said Minnikin. "I should so like to go down there and amuse myself a little with the other children." So this time also she said that he should have leave to go, but he must first promise that he would be back by the time the joint was turned, and that he would bring a great armful of wood with him. No sooner had Minnikin got down to the string than the troll came rushing along with a great whistling and whirling, and he was twice as big as the first troll, and he had 10 heads. "Fire!" shrieked the troll. "Fire yourself!" said Minnikin. "Can you fight?" roared the troll. "If not, I can learn," said Minnikin. So the troll struck at him with his iron club, which was still bigger than that which the first troll had had, so that the earth flew 10 yards up in the air. "Fie!" said Minnikin. That was not much of a blow. Now you shall see one of my blows." Then he grabbed his sword and struck at the troll, so that all his 10 heads danced away over the sands. And again the king's daughter said to him, "Sleep well, sleep a while on my lap." And while Minnikin lay there, she drew some silver raiment over him. As soon as Reiterate saw that there was no longer any danger afoot, he crept down from the tree and threatened the princess, until at last she was again forced to promise to say that it was he who had rescued her, after which he took the tongue and the lungs of the troll and put them in his pocket handkerchief, and then he conducted the princess back to the palace. There was joy and gladness in the palace, and may be imagined the king did not know how to show enough honor and respect to Reiterate. Minnikin, however, took home with him an armful of gold and silver hoops from the troll's ship. When he came back to the king's palace, the kitchen maid clapped her hands and wondered where he could have got all that gold and silver. But Minnikin answered that he had been home for a short time, and that it was only the hoops which had fallen off some piles, and that he had brought them away for the kitchen maid. When the third Thursday evening came, everything happened exactly as it had happened on the two former occasions. Everything in the king's palace was hung with black, and everyone was sorrow and distress. But Ritter said that he did not think that they had much reason to be afraid. He had delivered the king's daughter from the two throats, so he could easily deliver her from the third as well. He led her down to the string, but when the time drew near for the throat to come, he climbed up into the tree again and hid himself. The princess wept and entreated. The princess wept and entreated him to stay, but all to no purpose. He struck to his old speech. It is better that one life should be lost than two. This evening also, Minnikin begged for leave to go down to the seashore. "Oh, what can you do there?" answered the kitchen maid. However, he begged until at last he got to leave. But he was forced to promise that he would be back again in the kitchen when the roast had to be turned. Almost immediately after he had got down to the seashore, the troll came with a great whizzing and whirling, and he was much bigger than either of the two former ones, and he had 15 heads. "Fire!" roared the troll. "Fire yourself!" "Fire, Minnikin! Can you fight?" screamed the troll. "If not, I can learn," said Minnikin. "I will teach you," yelled the troll, and struck at him with his iron club so that the earth flew up 15 yards high in the air. "Fie!" said Minnikin. "That was not much of a blow. Now I will let you see one of my blows." So saying, he grabbed his sword and cut at the troll in such a way that all his 15 heads danced away over the sands. Then the princess was delivered, and she thanked Minnikin and blessed him for saving her. "Sleep a while now on my lap," said she, and while he lay there she put a garment of brass upon him. "But now how shall we have it made known that it was you who saved me?" said the king's daughter. "That I will teach you," answered Minnikin. "When Ritter Red has taken you home again and given out that it was he who rescued you, he will, as you know, have you to wife and half the kingdom. But when they ask you on the wedding day whom you will have to be your cupbearer, you must say, 'I will have the ragged boy who is in the kitchen and carries wood and water for the kitchen maid. And when I filling your cups for you, I will spill a drop upon his plate and none upon yours. And then he will be angry and strike me. And this will take place thrice. But the third time you must say, "Shame on you, tasked to smith the belief of my heart. It is he who delivered me from the troll, and he is the one whom I will have." The Minnikin ran back to the king's palace, as he had done before, but first he went to board the troll's ship and took a great quantity of gold and silver and the other precious things, and out of this he once more gave to the kitchen maid a whole armful of gold and silver hoops. No sooner Ritter Red see that all danger was over than he crept. No sooner did Ritter Red see that all danger was over than he crept down from the tree, and threatened the king's daughter till he made her promise to stay that he had rescued her. Then he conducted her back to the kitchen, and then he conducted her back to the king's palace, and if honor enough had not been done him before, it was certainly done now, for the kings had no other thoughts than how to make much of the man who had saved his daughter from the three trolls, and it was settled then that Ritter Red should marry her and receive half the kingdom. So this is the part 1 of storytelling Minnikin. So last but not least, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my video, share my video, and click on the bell. When you click on the bell, remember to turn on the notification so that you will know when I upload a new video every day. Comment below for any story or any topic you would like to see on my next video, or anything or any opinions you would like to tell me. Just comment below. So we'll see you on the next video. Okay, so goodbye.